Things continue to spiral out of control for Coronation Street's Daniel Osbourne as he desperately accuses 6 different people of reporting him to social services. Daniel has been struggling emotionally after a series of devastating events turned his life upside down. After his former partner Megan Walsh was arrested and charged before later returning, Daniel also became the victim of an aggressive online hate campaign run by the anonymous account TruthTeller2, which was eventually exposed as Jody Ramsey. Daniel's troubles worsened when he drank heavily and passed out in his flat, leaving young Bertie unattended. When he woke up and realized Bertie was missing, panic quickly set in and he rushed around searching for him, eventually finding out the child had been taken to the Barlow's house for safety. Tensions exploded after Adam criticized Daniel's careless behavior as a father. Furious and emotional, Daniel attempted to lash out at Adam, but accidentally struck his father Ken instead. The shocking incident soon resulted in a visit from social services. Daniel anxiously watched as a social worker spent time speaking privately with Bertie in the living room while he remained tense in the kitchen. Later, Daniel tried to make amends with both Adam and Alia for losing his temper, though he also admitted he had growing suspicions about who might have contacted social services behind his back. In Wednesday's episode, Daniel became involved in a heated disagreement with Alia and Idris at Roy's cafe over everything happening with Bertie. Soon afterwards, Tracy approached him in the street and explained that Ken was deeply concerned about him, urging Daniel to visit and reassure him. When Daniel arrived at Ken's house, he was frustrated to see Adam and Tracy already there. Ken explained that he had invited them because they all wanted to speak openly about Daniel's recent behavior. During the emotional conversation, Ken admitted he feared Daniel could be following the same destructive path as Peter's past struggles with alcohol. Daniel confessed he felt terrible for hurting Ken, but Adam harshly pointed out that guilt would not prevent future mistakes or protect Bertie from further danger. The comment almost triggered another fight between the two men before Tracy stepped in to calm the situation, leading Daniel to storm out before things became physical again. Later on, Tracy visited Daniel at his flat using Ken's spare key. She attempted to smooth things over and admitted she partly blamed herself for how events had unfolded. However, the conversation was interrupted when Daniel received another phone call from social services. Meanwhile, Adam, Idris, Ken, Alia, and Kirk gathered together at the Rovers' return for drinks, where the topic once again turned to Daniel's worrying behavior. Alia admitted she had never seen him so angry before, while Ken tried unsuccessfully to steer the conversation elsewhere. The atmosphere suddenly changed when Daniel burst into the pub, demanding to know which one of them had anonymously reported him. Despite everyone denying responsibility, Daniel angrily revealed he now faced assessments and repeated visits from social workers. Adam suggested the process might actually help Daniel in the long run, but Daniel refused to listen. Furious and emotional, he insisted Bertie was his son and accused someone at the table of trying to take him away before storming out once again. Now the question remains: which member of the group really contacted social services, and what will happen when Daniel finally discovers the truth? Coronation Street viewers are convinced that Sarah Platt and Gary Windis may secretly be involved in Theo Silverton's shocking death following several suspicious moments in the latest episode. Theo, the cruel scaffolder who terrorized Todd Grimshaw for months, was discovered dead during the soap's Dramatic Murder Week storyline. His death came after months of abusive behavior that made him one of the show's most hated villains. Fan suspicion started building during scenes at the salon, where Bethany complained that her mother Sarah had completely forgotten her 26th birthday. Although disappointed, Bethany tried to move past it, as the family prepared for a birthday celebration later at the bistro. While Maria and Gary stopped by with coffees, they wished Bethany a happy birthday before discussing Sarah forgetting the special occasion. Maria joked that Sarah would be in trouble over it, but Gary quickly defended his ex, pointing out that Sarah had recently gone through a traumatic attack and deserved some understanding. Earlier that same night, Sarah had been violently attacked inside number 8 by Jody Ramsey, although she still has no idea who assaulted her. During the family birthday meal, several relatives teased Sarah for forgetting Bethany's birthday. Clearly irritated, Sarah snapped that everyone should stop criticizing her because she was still recovering from a serious head injury, while David laughed at the awkward situation. As conversation later shifted towards Theo's murder investigation, Sarah suddenly appeared uncomfortable and nervous. She abruptly apologized before claiming she felt unwell and hurriedly left the bistro to return home. Back at the flat, Sarah questioned Kit Green about the latest developments in the murder case after teenager Bertie was arrested for selling Todd's missing phone to a local pawnbroker. Bertie insisted he had found the phone discarded in a skip. Because Bertie is secretly Kit's biological son, Kit admitted he should not be discussing details of the investigation. However, Sarah continued pressing him for information and eventually asked whether Maria would ever lie to provide Gary with an alibi. Meanwhile, over at the Rover's return, Maria admitted to Gary that Sarah had been behaving strangely and seemed emotionally distant lately. Gary once again rushed to defend Sarah, reminding Maria that Sarah had recently suffered a brutal attack and was also dealing with the murder of her best friend's husband. Gary's repeated attempts to protect Sarah immediately caught viewers' attention, leading many fans to believe the pair could be hiding a dark secret together. Social media quickly exploded with theories, with one viewer pointing out how strange it was for Gary to defend his ex-wife so passionately in front of Maria. Another fan noted that both Sarah and Gary seemed unusually nervous throughout the episode. Several viewers even speculated that Sarah may have killed Theo herself, while Gary helped cover up the crime afterwards. Others criticized Sarah for forgetting Bethany's. Coronation Street has hinted that Leanne Battersby could soon face fresh drama following the arrival of newcomer Idris Nazir on the cobbles. Since making his explosive debut in Weatherfield, Idris quickly caught Leanne's attention and wasted no time pursuing her. The pair instantly connected, sparking what could become an exciting new romance filled with passion, tension, and possible conflict. Jane explained that Leanne has endured plenty of misery over the years, so it has been refreshing to see the character happier and enjoying herself again. She added that Leanne is finally beginning to smile more and have some fun after a difficult period in her life. Although Leanne and Nick are no longer together, Jane confirmed the former couple will still continue working closely with one another, meaning their lives are bound to overlap regularly. Jane also hinted that Idris and Leanne may become involved with Speed Doll, while Toya and Nick remain connected to the bistro. This could eventually trigger a full-scale restaurant war between the rival businesses. Speaking more about Idris, Jane described him as someone who arrived in Weatherfield with confidence and immediately made an impression on everyone around him. She joked that Leanne has a long history of complicated romances and tends to move quickly when a new man enters her life, although in this case, Idris was the one actively chasing her first. Jane went on to explain that Leanne is genuinely enjoying spending time with Idris and is attracted to his rebellious personality. She described him as charming but slightly dangerous, with a mischievous side that keeps things interesting. Because Leanne herself can be fiery, outspoken, and unpredictable, Jane believes she is naturally drawn to Idris's edgy nature and enjoys the excitement he brings to the street. Coronation Street continues airing on ITV1 during weeknights and is also available for streaming on ITVX.